We open with wide, steady shots of the African wilderness in South Africa. The camera captures monkeys leaping through trees, lions resting in the sun, cheetahs roaming gracefully, and birds soaring across the sky. The landscape feels pure and untouched by humans, full of life yet peaceful. One night, a tiny cheetah cub wanders alone, clearly lost. It squeezes through a fence and ends up on a quiet road. Suddenly, headlights approach fast. It seems the cub will be hit, but at the last moment, the car swerves, missing it by inches. The driver is Peter, a local farmer returning home with his young son, Zon. Both father and son are stunned to find a wild baby cheetah in the middle of the road. Just then, a truck speeds toward them, nearly running over the cub, but Peter acts quickly, rescuing it before it's too late. They realize this little creature wouldn't have survived long on its own. Back at home, they show the cub to Kristen, Zon's mother. The family isn't scared of the animal, they're more concerned about its safety. That night, the cheetah sleeps in Zon's bed, and slowly, a bond begins to grow between the boy and the cub. The family decides to care for the cheetah temporarily until they can figure out what to do. In the days that follow, the cub adapts to its new surroundings, and the family begins to treat him as one of their own. Zon names him Duma, the Swahili word for cheetah. We see moments of Zon and his father working together on the farm, building a treehouse, riding a scooter, sharing laughs, all with Duma running around, exploring everything with curiosity. But then, Peter falls seriously ill and has to be taken to the hospital. When he returns weeks later, he seems better, but something has changed. One day, while visiting Zon in the treehouse, Peter talks to him about Duma. He explains that Duma is a wild animal and keeping him on the farm isn't fair. Duma deserves to live free, to hunt, run, and survive like other cheetahs. Zon doesn't want to let him go, but Peter has a plan. Next weekend, they'll take Duma back to the place where they found him, camp there for a night, and leave him with his own kind. Tragically, before this can happen, Peter passes away unexpectedly. Heartbroken, Kristen tells Zon they can't stay on the farm anymore. They must sell it and move to the city. She plans to send Duma to a reserve, but Zon insists Duma should be free in the wild, not locked away. Starting at his new school, Zon struggles to fit in and soon faces bullies who single him out. Meanwhile, Duma escapes from Kristen's sister's apartment, follows Kristen to the school, and finds Zon. When bullies corner Zon, Duma leaps in, scaring them off instantly. But the chaos draws police attention, and they try to capture Duma. Knowing the cheetah can't stay here, and fearing his mother's plan for the reserve, Zon decides to return Duma to the wild himself. He leaves a note for his mother, takes his father's motorbike with Duma in the sidecar, and sets off on an adventure. But soon, the bike breaks down in the middle of the desert. With no choice, Zon pushes it for miles until nightfall when they discover the wreckage of an old plane and take shelter there. That night, a wandering traveler named Rip appears and tries to steal the bike. Zon confronts him, but Rip turns out to be harmless, just lost and desperate. When he learns the bike has no fuel, he stays with Zon and offers water, warning they could starve before reaching anywhere safe. He even suggests eating Duma to survive, but Zon refuses. Using parachutes from the wreckage, Zon cleverly rigs the bike into a sail cart, and soon, they're gliding across the desert at full speed. For a moment, things feel hopeful. Meanwhile, Kristen is frantic, printing missing posters for her son, terrified for his safety. Rip uses his knowledge of the desert to find water by digging into the ground, but food remains a problem. They test Duma's hunting instincts on an ostrich, but he fails to catch it, though he does find a nest full of large eggs. That night, as they eat by the fire, Zon explains his plan to return Duma to the wild where he belongs. Rip warns the place is dangerous, full of wild animals, but agrees to take them halfway. With no better option, Zon accepts, and the three, Zon, Rip, and Duma, continue their long journey across the scorching desert. As the journey continues, Zon and Rip come across an ancient stone wall. While exploring, Rip finds an old spearhead and picks it up with excitement. Suddenly, the sound of a helicopter roars above. The two quickly hide, unaware that it's actually Zon's mother searching for him. Still, even if Zon knew, he would have stayed hidden. His mission to return Duma to the wild is all that matters. The next day, they discover an abandoned diamond mine. Rip insists on checking it for any leftover diamonds while Zon waits outside. Seizing the chance to leave, Zon starts to run off with Duma, but then a loud crash echoes from inside the mine. Rip is trapped. Despite everything, Zahn runs in and finds Rip half-buried under the collapsed tunnel. He digs until Rip can breathe again. But as Rip pleads for help to get free, Zahn accuses him of leading them the wrong direction. Frustrated, Zahn leaves Rip half-buried and heads off alone with Duma. Soon, they reach a wide river. Zahn quickly builds a small raft, and he and Duma climb aboard. But the current is strong, dragging them toward a huge waterfall, and worse, crocodiles swim nearby. As the raft flips, Zahn fights them off with his spear, barely reaching the shore alive. That night, the wilderness becomes even more dangerous. As they move through a dark jungle, Duma gets caught in a trap while a wild boar catches Zahn's scent. Forced into a tree to escape, Zahn suddenly loses his balance when a spider startles him, sending him crashing to the ground. The boar charges, but Zahn blacks out before it reaches him. When he wakes, Rip is there, along with Duma, whom Rip freed from the trap. Rip admits he considered selling them both for money, but couldn't bring himself to do it. He shares that he's made many mistakes in life, even abandoning his family, but he wants to change. The next day, they spot a group of tourists camping nearby. The tourists have plenty of food, so Rip and Zahn come up with a plan. They release a captured snake into the camp, causing chaos as everyone runs. While the tourists scatter, Rip and Zahn swoop in, stealing food and even a canoe. For the first time, the two share a laugh and some much-needed supplies, feeling like maybe the worst is behind them. Days pass. Duma begins to hunt on his own, feeding on a fresh carcass. When Zahn tries to pull him away, Duma growls. Rip reminds Zahn that Duma is becoming what he was always meant to be, a wild animal. Later, Rip brings Zahn to a cave from his childhood. They talk about Zahn's father and the changes in their lives. It's a quiet, emotional moment, showing how much both Zahn and Duma have grown on this journey. But danger strikes again. As they cross open ground, swarms of tsetse flies attack. Rip shields Zahn under a blanket, but takes most of the bites himself. That night, he grows weak and feverish as heavy rain pours down. With no other choice, Zahn leaves Rip by a fire and sets out for help, ordering Duma to stay, but the cheetah follows anyway. In the dark, a pack of lions appears, closing in on Zahn. Out of nowhere, Duma leaps in, distracting them and saving Zahn. Together, they reach a nearby village, where Zahn begs for help. The villagers use traditional remedies to treat Rip's illness, and by morning, he's recovering. Rip wakes to a surprise. This is his home village. He reunites with his family after all these years, finally finding peace and forgiveness. The next day, Zahn sees Duma again, this time with a female cheetah running free under the open sky. Watching them, Zahn realizes this is what he always wanted, for Duma to live wild, just as his father wished. With a heavy heart, Zahn leaves Duma behind and heads home. Back at the farm, his mother spots him returning. She jumps off the mower and runs to him, embracing her son tightly. Zahn's journey was long and dangerous, but it changed him forever. He knows he'll never forget Duma, and Duma will never forget him. So that's it. Hope you enjoy the story. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more videos.